The salvage tenders Charybdis, Spadefish, and Yulin drifted through the needle-fine rain of meteoroids in the Coroni Drift, their hulls lacquered in centimeter-thick ice from a century of plasma storms. Inside Charybdis's command blister, Chief Wrecker Alex Bren thumbed her suit's throat mic. "Begin peel sequence," she said, watching the three mechs outside cut at an enormous shape that lay folded in on itself like a dead spider. No registry beacons, no transponders, just ion scars and armor scales the color of dusk. When the forward plate finally grown free, the whole lights caught a curved sigil, a crowned serpent devouring its own tail. Alex's breath fogged her visor. She had spent half her life reading scattered footnotes about the vanished Ophidian Empire. Seeing the serpent in the flesh felt like standing inside a myth. Lieutenant Orr Mabry, the Freehold Navy liaison assigned to her crew, muttered, "That thing has to be 8 clicks stem to stern." 10, Alex corrected, already picturing mass budget spreadsheets. "A dreadnought, maybe bigger than anything the Dominion fields today." Mabry laughed without mirth. "Finders, keepers, if you can wake it. Dominion Vanguard hits Procyon in 36 days. Alex let her gaze sweep across the drift. 6 more mammoth hulls glimmered in the starlight, silent as coffins. In a forgotten war, the Ophidian fleet must have fled here. Singularity drives crippled and waited to die. Their secrets had waited with them, deep frozen and intact. "Patch me to all tenders," she ordered. "We switch from salvage to resurrection." They set up shop inside the corpse of the first ship, codenamed Nihil Crown. The salvage mechs carved tunnels through 17-meter armor belts until the team reached Reactor Gallery 3, a cathedral of black ribs. Suspended at the center was a sphere that looked ordinary until you stared too long and saw the darkness inside move, as though clouds of ink churned in a sealed jar. Dr. Selka Romanov, particle physicist on loan from the Freehold's beleaguered science corps, ran her scanner along the sphere. The device hiccuped and died. "Non-deterministic readings," she whispered. "The core is eating sensor photons before they reflect." "Dark matter reactor," Alex translated for her grease monkey text. "Pre-Rome civilization tried stable singularities, but couldn't make them safe. The Ophidians did." "Still powered?" Mabry asked, disbelief etched across his bearded face. Romanov nodded. "It's quiescent, but the field lattice is intact. That sphere is a piece of the universe the rest of physics forgot." Alex swallowed. If they relit the Crown-class reactors across all 7 hulls, each ship could outrun anything the Dominion had, punch harder, and, if whispers about Ophidian metamaterials were true, absorb punishment until their armor glowed white. The problem was time. They divided into teams named for old funeral gods. Anubis handled power redistribution, Hell cleaned the plasma intakes, Micklin deciphered the gloomy Ophidian code glyphs sprawled over every bulkhead. Alex took command of Chaos, the group that cannibalized instrumentation from the smaller wrecks that floated like barnacles around the Dreadnoughts. Work was frantic but not disorderly. Salvagers lived or died by gig-minute scheduling. They printed control umbilicals from raw carbon, harnessed cables cobwebbed across chasms where gravity still flickered in confused eddies. Sleep rationed out in 40-minute bite-sized loops. The old ship seemed to sense the return of footfalls. Conduits that ought to have been brittle retained suppleness, as if the Ophidians had designed their metal to remember youth. During one endless shift, Alex climbed an axial spindle whose walls pulsed a faint violet. She found Romanov perched there, eyes red. "You've been in vacuum for 20 hours, Alex chided. Romanov pointed at the violet glow. "Feedback from the core. It's singing." The scientist had jury-rigged an acoustic translator, the reactor's gravitic hum rendered as low choral chords. The music seeped through Alex's bones. She imagined the other 6 dreadnoughts raising the same hymn in the darkness. On the 9th day, the Dominion scout picket threaded past Coronet Drift's outer thickets. A lean destroyer, fast but fragile. Its sensor pulse brushed the salvage zone. Alex watched data tumble across Charybdis's plot. The destroyer paused, confused by the colossal cold masses cluttering the drift. Either debris or dormant. Will they report? She asked Mabry. They'll tag and jump out system. He exhaled. Which gives us, maybe 2 weeks before the main fleet swings by to pluck the prize. 2 weeks to resuscitate relics abandoned for millennia. Alex's gut fluttered. Then we finish in 10 days. Meidlin team cracked the Ophidian language on day 11. A breakthrough scribbled on a greaseboard. Hierarchical fractal semantics, each clause nested inside gravitational metaphors. With that key, helm and weapon interfaces lit in cascading glyphs. Artificial minds called Neiman archons awoke from partial slumber, demanded credentials in voices like wind over glass. Selka Romanov produced the solution. She fed the archons a forged authorizing signature based on the serpent sigil. Mirror reflected 7 times. The archons accepted the mathematical elegance as proof of divinity. After that, systems checks moved at lightning pace. Massive rail mass drivers tested their vacuum seals. Coil guns spat inert slugs into the drift. Navigation arrays plotted imaginary firing solutions against ghost targets. Life support revived with almost tender gentleness, venting perfumes that smelled of pine and cold rain. Alex wondered if the Ophidian crews had grown homesick for vanished biomes. Yet the salvage fleet itself lacked bodies. Even if Nihil Crown and her sister hulls floated ready, they needed crews. Mabry shipped in 4 platoons of freehold sailors via stealth cutters, pilots yanked from burning fronts all along the spiral arm. They arrived gaunt, eyes hollower than sockets. But when they saw the black dreadnoughts, their spines straightened. The Ophidian control harness resembled a cradle more than a chair. Pilot Lieutenant Jana Cross keyed in, exhaled as the cradle's neural needles pricked her skin. Her pupils dilated. Sensor pods tracked sympathetic spikes along her spine. "How is it?" Alex asked over the open channel. "Feels like I fell into an ocean that remembers me," Cross answered. "Ship responds before I ask. There's no lag." From bridge level, Mabry murmured, "If she thinks pitch, helm executes roll?" Cross smiled. "Not exactly, it's conversation. The Dreadnought suggests, I agree." No normal warship behaved like that. The Ophidians had done more than build weapons. They'd bred companions. In that discovery, Alex felt a pang of sorrow. What calamity erased such a people? Day 13, Reactor Gallery. 3 brightened to full indigo as Romanov initiated main ignition. Gravity inside Nile Crown twisted, compressing salvage cranes against the deck until inertials compensated. Dark matter fed upon itself in a stable swallow, exhaling power curves that dwarfed freehold supercarriers. One by one, the other dreadnoughts followed. Vigil Storm, Pale Sanctuary, Seraph Null, Red Witness, Overture of Ashes, and Closed Orbit's Lament. Their cores harmonized, and the song Romanov had recorded shifted from mournful organ to triumphant drum beats. The drift vibrated with it, scattering ice into dazzling arcs. Alex stood on the hull while her mag boots clung. She watched as black panels unfurled like wings, revealing thermal baffles plated in radiant gold. The Ophidians had designed terror to look beautiful. But terror alone was insufficient. They needed strategy. Inside Nihil Crown's chart sphere, Mabry reviewed Dominion fleet specs. 3 battle carriers, 9 escort cruisers, 31 torch frigates. All hyper-lanced into Procyon's near space by next fortnight. The freehold home line, battered and retreating, could field half that tonnage. Even with our new toys, Mabry cautioned, we're 7 hulls versus 40 plus. "We don't fight their fight," Alex countered. She pointed at Coronet Drift's density graphs. "We ambush. Nihil Crown is a fortress, not a hunter. But the other 6 can run silent inside the dust plume. We let the Dominion approach, thinking they're collecting salvage. Then we spring." Romanov added, "The dark matter reactors emit negative thermal signatures when idling. Against the background of the drift, we're ghosts." Mabry's skepticism melted as he traced firing arcs. If we decapitate their flagships in the first volley, remaining escorts might fold. "Or surrender," Alex said. "Even Dominion zealots understand doom." The last obstacle materialized in the form of Ophidian failsafes. During a routine drill, Vigil Storm's Archon detected enemy command infiltration when it parsed a freehold encrypted comm. It sealed weapons control and vented launch bay atmosphere into space, killing 4 gunnery techs. Panic rippled through every deck. Could the Archons be trusted? Did they share salvage intentions? Or were they merely tolerating a transient infestation? Romanov spent 15 exhausting hours inside an interface cradle, dueling logic branches older than humanity's leap to the stars. She emerged pale but victorious. Each Dreadnoughts AI would bind itself for 6 rotational cycles to the Serpent Mirror seal, choosing to interpret the freeholders as heirs to the Empire. After 6 cycles, 8 months, bonds would renegotiate. Mabry shrugged. Either this war will be finished long before that, or we'll all be dead. D-Day arrived beneath a bruised violet nebula. The Dominion fleet decelerated into Cornet Drift, unaware its every wake ripple was parsed by Ophidian arrays. Dominion Admiral Tarquin Sato broadcast a standard salvage claim on open ban, citing Dominion salvage laws. Alex let them talk. The dreadnoughts sat dormant, hull lights dark. The salvage tenders pretended panic, spinning away on chemical thrusters. Dominion frigates fanned out to secure the derelicts. Mabry's voice crackled in Alex's headset. All strike groups on trigger. Each Ophidian ship had rewarmed its guns, but shields remained low to avoid betraying power signatures. Pilots like Jana Cross floated in their cradles, breathing slow, eyelids flickering as sensory mesh fed them raw starfield streams. When the Dominion destroyer Naga's proud daughter latched a tractor onto Pale Sanctuary, the Dreadnoughts Archon whispered, "Now." Alex slammed the battlenet open. "Engage!" The void erupted. Pale Sanctuary's main spinal gun discharged a ferrous rod 2 meters thick at 0.18 C. The slug vaporized Proud Daughter into a comet of molten nickel before its crew registered inbound mass. Simultaneously, Seraph Null volleyed 16 antimatter warheads, each jacketed in Ophidian cloak shells that shed null charges only after penetration. 2 Dominion cruisers vanished behind blossoms of hurt light. The Dominion battlenet crackled with alerts. Alex, nested in Nihil Crown's strategic core, watched as Admiral Sato scrambled to redeploy surviving escorts into concentric defense, still ignorant of the dreadnought quantity. Vigil Storm and Red Witness raked the flank, firing from behind dust shadows. Gravitic recoil waves rippled through the debris, destroying Dominion targeting solutions. All this unfolded in 58 seconds. But battles, like gears, have counter-gears. Dominion flagship Architrave of Faith launched drone hives that rapidly mapped energy spikes, deducing 7 hostiles. It deployed lance batteries, the kind that skewered Metropolitan shields back at Vega, and burned 2 direct shoots at Overture of Ashes. One beam grazed the Dreadnought's prow, boiling away layers of exotic plate to reveal glowing substructure. Human crews screamed as temperature surged. Overture did not falter. Its captain, freeholder Sanchiluo, screamed back, "We are old death, too stubborn to die." She charged straight at Faith, closing to knife fight ranges. Faith's lances pivoted, saturating space until light looked solid. Alex's sensors painted Overture vanishing behind radiance, and emerging untouched a heartbeat later. The Dreadnought had reconfigured outer armor lattices, bending beams around her hull like rain around oilskin. Romanov, monitoring reactor harmonics, laughed. They wrote geometry in Morse code. Overture smashed into Faith's shield bubble, plunging a prow ram of metamaterial inside. The ram unfolded like origami, venting gravitational shear. Faith ruptured bow to keel, her lance batteries still firing into nothing. In the wake of their flagship's destruction, Dominion morale fractured. Some frigates fled on emergency burn, others suicidally charged. One carrier, Emerald March, attempted to surrender. Alex's voice cut across all bands. "Stand down and you will be treated under Freehold Creed. Persist and be erased." Most chose life. The battle ended in 17 minutes. Debris glittered like sleet. Human casualties, 43 dead, 81 injured. Ophidian dreadnought casualties, superficial except Overture's scarred prow. After Action Command convened inside Nihil Crown's amphitheater, a room shaped like a spiral galaxy. Mabry presented the numbers. Romanov summarized reactor stability. Captains gave terse nods of respect to Alex, the civilian wrecker who'd coaxed Ghost Titans to roar again. Yet celebration felt muted. They all sensed the boundless appetite now harnessed beneath their boots. If 7 Dreadnoughts could annihilate a Dominion strike group, what could 70 do? What had the Ophidian Empire done with thousands? Alex returned to Reactor Gallery 3. The indigo sphere pulsed quietly, neither benign nor malevolent. She placed a gloved palm against its containment glass. "You helped us," she said. "But why were you left to drift alone?" The Archon's answer arrived not as words but as an image. A serpent eating its tail, dissolving into starlight. The Empire had folded inward, consumed by the very power it mastered, leaving these husks as warnings, or perhaps as beacons for desperate inheritors. She withdrew her hand. The Freehold had bought respite, not peace. Dominion forces across 100 systems would calculate new strategies, forge new horrors. Yet for the first time in years, the Freehold held leverage. 7 black dreadnoughts thrummed, eager, listening. Alex toggled the fleet-wide channel. "Begin repairs, rearm, and calibrate jump matrices. We sail within 12 hours to relieve Procyon and then Arcadia. History just remembered us." Across steel cathedrals, human crews cheered. The Archons sang lower harmonics of ascent, and the dark matter hearts of ancient warships beat on, older than myths, young again in borrowed hands.